Pavitram charitam yasya Pavitram jivanam tatha Pavitrata sarupinyai Tasyai divyai namo namah Jananim sharadam devim Ramakrishnam jagadgurum Padpadme tayo shrutva Pranamami muhurmu. I bow down to Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi, whose life was pure, whose character was pure, who was purity incarnate on this earth. I bow down to Sri Sharda Devi, who is the mother of all of us, and Sri Ram Krishna, who is the teacher of all of us, the teacher of the whole world. I bow down to them again and again. Dear Swami Sharanandaji, Ravrajika Ishtaprana Mataji, Dr. Bedasi, Mrs. Hargovan, Professor Shukla, other dignitaries present here, the members of the center as well as the member of this particular branch center, sisters and brothers, dear friends. I am very happy to be here this morning. I missed the two earlier beautiful sessions, beautiful speeches I heard from Swami Sharanandaji. That beautiful speeches were delivered, and also by our chief guest who inaugurated the conference. You had a very nice food already in the first session, and also the physical food, of course, in the tea interval. So I won't like to give you too much food because that will bring indigestion. I'll be just saying a few words about a very important subject that has been given to me, women empowerment. Already from the two learned speakers and also from our chief guest, you heard about the topic. I'll try to see it from a little different perspective. All over the world, we are finding a phenomenon. The communication technology is advancing too much, and the world is becoming one. It is now a global village, as they say. Globalization has come to stay, whether you like it or not, on the economic front. But global culture and global civilization has yet to emerge. Lot of quarrels going on between societies, between the nations, between religions. Unless and until this quarrel, this fight between religions, between nations, between civilizations is not solved, we will not have world peace. In order to have world peace, in order to have a sane society, we must have a global culture and a global civilization. And that can be brought about only by bringing in the message of Vedanta. Swami Vivekananda said, the whole world must get the message of Vedanta. Two messages. Number one, harmony of all religions. And number two, equality of all human beings, irrespective of caste, creed, color, religion or sex. This is the fundamental message of Vedanta. Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. It is only one reality, supreme reality, only the names are different and the manifestations are different. The paths of reaching that reality may be different, but it is ultimate one reality in which all the religions are heading for, towards which all the religions are heading for. And this message of Vedanta in our own times has been verified by Sri Ram Krishna, who practiced all religions by term, Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, and then say, Jotomot, Totopot, as many faiths, so many paths. That is why Claude Allen Stark in his book God of All says, in our own times what is wanted? Claude Allen Stark, God of All is the name of the book, God of All. He says, in our own times what was required is a person who would be able to say with authenticity that all religions lead to the same goal. But the modern world is living in a scientific age. Only a theoretical message will not do. A practical experimentation is necessary. If a person by turn takes up the practice of Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, and then after experimenting in the laboratory of his own life, if he says, yes, I have experimentally verified that all religions are leading ultimately to the same goal, then only the modern world will accept that as an authentic statement. And then Claude Allen Stark says, and fortunately for us, this has already been done by Sri Ramakrishna in the last century. Unfortunately, we are not aware of it. Sri Ramakrishna did perform all the spiritual practices by turn and verified in his own life. He had the laboratory of his own life. In his laboratory of his own life, he practiced all religions and verified and said, yes, I have seen all religions lead to the same goal. And he gave a beautiful example. There is a pond of water. From one side of the pond, Hindu says, I have brought jal. And second side of the pond, the Muslim says, no, I have brought pani. And third side of the pond, the Christian says, no, I have brought water. And the fourth side, another says, no, I have brought aqua. Why are you fighting? It is the same water. It is the same water, only the names are different, paths are different. You may go from any angle, it is the same water. If you ask the scientists, they will say it is H2O. Basically, it is the same reality. So Vedanta says it is ultimately one supreme reality. Some call Allah, some call God, some call Ishwar. It's one single reality known by different names, and the paths are different. Paths are different. Let there be as many paths. What is there? You try to follow. You like that path, you go by that path. I like to go by this shortcut. Let me go by this shortcut. Even if the path is a little difficult, I want to go by this shortcut. Why are you wanting to interfere with me? There are so many paths. Let everybody go according to his or her own liking. No. I want jalebi, I like jalebi, every one of you must take jalebi. Otherwise I will kill you. That is not a good thing. You like jalebi, you take jalebi, I want rasgulla, I will take rasgulla. And somebody else wants, no, I don't like sweet things. Nowadays, sweet things produces diabetes, particularly ladies are very much concerned. Because again, they will say, what is the weight of the lady in all that. So they will go salty things. Before marriage, now they have the weight chart. So they would like to go for salt tasting. Let them go for salt tastings. What is there? Let each one take according to his or her own best. Similarly, Sri Ramakrishna says, there are so many paths, you follow whatever path you want. This is the message of Vedanta number 1. All religions lead to the same goal. Number 2, irrespective of caste, creed, color, religion or sex, there is one reality which is present in each and every human being, in the heart of each and every human being. Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudo atmana prakashate drishyate tvagraya buddhya shukshmaya shukshma darshivi, says the Kathopanishad. Inside each and every human being, it is the same Atman present. And what is the proof? Some people have verified it. That is the proof. Those who have verified, those who have got high intellect. Not only high intellect, but a very fine intellect. They have verified it. That is the proof of it. So these are the 2 basic postulates of Vedanta which can bring the world civilization. And only world civilization will give world peace. The global civilization, the global culture can only give world peace. Otherwise, nations are going to continue to fight. As Samuel P. Huntington says in his book, The Clash of Civilizations and Remaking of the New World Order, He says most of the clashes, most of the wars that have been fought for last 1 century have been more or less the wars not between countries, not between nations. They have been the war between civilizations, more particularly war between religions, more particularly wars between Islam and Christianity. It is nothing but clash of civilizations. If this clash of civilizations has to stop, we must have a world civilization. And that is why Vedanta says, Tvam Stri, Tvam Pumanasi, Tvam Kumar, Utva Kumari, Tvam Jivno Dandena Vanchasi, Tvam Jato Bhavasi Vishwato Mukha. Shweta Shweta says, O Lord, you are present in girl, in a boy, in the old man who is trotting with a stick. You are, O Lord, present in every human being. It is the same Lord present in every human being. Sarvata Pani Padam Tat, Sarvata Kshishro Mukham, Sarvata Shrudimalloke, Sarvam Avrita Tishtati. Inside each and every human being. It is the same hands working, same feet. Lord present in every human being. Same Lord. Beautiful song by Bahadur Shah for the last Mughal emperor gives this message of Vedanta. तुझसे हमने दिल को लगाया, जो कुछ है सो तू ही है, एक तुझको अपना पाया, जो कुछ है सो तू ही है. Inside each and every human being is the same reality. This message of Vedanta has to permeate through the whole world, through each and every human being. Then only the world civilization comes. That is why Swami Vivekananda says, we want to have world civilization, we must have Vedanta. The new cycle must see the Vedanta being preached to the masses. But then he added, but this has to come through women. This has to come through women. Swami Vivekananda prophesied, and not a single prophecy has gone in vain. He said, this new cycle must see Vedanta being preached to the masses, but this has to come through women. And see how women are coming all over the world. They are coming on the top. Everywhere. Women coming on the top in every field. And of course, in the spiritual field. I am coming from Ramakrishna Math and Mission, Ramakrishna Mission, an organization started by Swami Vivekananda, where it is an organization of monks. There is a parallel organization for the nuns, Sarda Math. It was started in 1953. Though Swami Vivekananda wanted the Math for women to be started earlier than the Math for men. But anyway, it started later, during the centenary of Holy Mother Sharda Devi in 1954. But this Sarda Math and Mission has also got a lot of branches all over the world, including a branch in Australia. And nuns of Sarda Math are going all over the world preaching the message of Vedanta. And many more women who have not become nuns are also preaching this message of Vedanta. And lot of women are coming forward. In various fields, they are coming on the top positions. So Swamiji's prophecy, world civilization, through the message of Vedanta, and this has to come through women. That is a great thing. And Swami Vivekananda also prophesied that women are going to play a leading role in establishing a new world order. And that is a great prophecy. It's coming true. And most of the scholars, most of the thinkers are also ascribing it, that the new sanctuary is to be the sanctuary of women. They are going to play a leading role. And we find everywhere, when we have competitions for girls, when we have competitions for students, it is the girls who are topping everywhere. In the examinations, girls going forward. Everywhere, girls coming forward. And Alvin Toffler says, the power shift, there is a power shift. The power is now shifting from muscle power to mind power. It is the fine power that will work. According to Peter Drucker, the management guru of the modern world, he says in his latest book, the best of Peter Drucker says, the new cycle, the new millennium, the new century is going to be the century of knowledge workers. So, it is the knowledge workers, the professionals, the people with high intelligence, not with high muscle power, they are going to rule the world. Previously, the wars were fought with weapons, swords. Now the wars are being fought with missiles. And you know, in order to operate the missiles, you have to just push a button. And women are very expert in pushing the buttons. great experts. At home also they go on pushing the button and they create. They are going if the world moves. It's Swami Vivekananda's prophecy, not I telling. The women power is coming forward. It has to come. The new world order is to come. It is coming already. The power shift is going from men to women. Women have to equip themselves what type of world they want. They must get empowerment, of course, but what type of empowerment? Swami Vivekananda said, when we are talking about national development, a nation cannot develop unless until the condition of women is improved and unless until the women have got developed. And he used to give a beautiful simile. A bird cannot fly only on one wing. And similarly he said, whether it is India, whether it is South Africa, any country cannot develop unless until the condition of women is improved. National development must be preceded by women development. But how women development will come? Women empowerment and women development go together. If the condition of women has to be improved, if they have to develop, there must be empowerment. But what type of empowerment? One is, of course, the empowerment through legislation, political empowerment. I was very happy to know in South Africa, you advanced so much. In India, they are still talking about reserving 20% of the seats in parliament for women. Every time the bill comes and it is gone. This is not passed. All the political parties, they will say that we want women reservation, but at the time of implementation, they will go back. This is what is happening. But in South Africa, I heard a lot of political backing is for you, and a lot of ministers are women, and that's a great thing. So women empowerment through politics is come. That is good. But that is not enough. First of all, it will not come in all the countries. Is it come in South Africa, but other countries not coming? Even in the United States is not coming. You know, there was a conference, an international conference at Beijing a few years back. 10,000 women had gone. And they had a lot of discussions. And they found out there are atrocities on women in almost every country. In so-called developed countries also and developing countries also. It may be a little difference of the magnitude of atrocities and the type of atrocities, but almost every country, women atrocities is going on. And so they framed a rule for women empowerment. Some legislation should be done by the governments. They made a recommendation. The Time magazine gave a special report on that women's conference, and they gave a beautiful remark. All this has been done, the charter has been chopped out, the suggestions have been given, but the suggestions have been given to the governments to have legislations for women, but most of the people in the government are men, and so they are not going to do it, we know it. They are not going to implement it. So, during the last 5-10 years, it has not been implemented, the atrocities are going on. What is the solution? Everywhere atrocities going on. What is the solution? How to have women development? Of course, we can try for women empowerment through legislation. But even with legislation, even if we can do that, it is not going to be enough till the problem of employment has been solved. As long as there is no economic security for women, they are going to be insulted, they are going to be lot of atrocities on them, as long as they are not economically self-dependent. So economic security is a must. There must be employment, but employment cannot be given to all the women. The only solution is self-employment. In India, we have started this experiment, self-employment for women. They try to do a lot of work, preparing pickles, preparing papad, preparing various types of items they know very well, handicraft, and this handicraft is now being sold in the world market at a great price, and we have tried to see that they do not get exploited as far as the market rate is concerned. we have prepared various women's groups. So self-employment is a must for women. But this has to be preceded by education for women. Education for women is a must. Otherwise, all the programs will fail. But education of what type? Not the education of the type that is now going on all over the world, but an education which will not only give them academic knowledge of various subjects, but also will instill in them a sense of confidence, mental power, and also courage, faith in themselves, and spiritual power. They must develop with this education not only IQ, not only EQ, but also SQ. I told about SQ during last few days. I have been telling. All the three have to be developed. Unless until SQ has been developed in women, this spiritual empowerment is not there, all the other programs are going to fail, as it has been failing. All the liberation movement have failed. The feminist movement has gone. When the World Conference was going on in Beijing, where was Betty Friedan, who started the feminine movement, liberation movement in America? She was sitting in the corner, the old woman, helpless. Helpless, because in 1963, she wrote a book, The Feminine Mystic, and she gave a call to the American women. What are you doing? Just imprisoned in your kitchen? Are you born for that? We are no less than men. Let us be, we are all equal. So let us do whatever men are doing. Let us wear like men, let us go to the office like men, let us do everything like men. So they wanted to become men. All the women. And so all went out of their houses, started jobs, going into the education. Yes, there was a great change. After 20 years, Betty Friedan wrote another book, The Second Stage. And she wrote, I had made a mistake. Because what happened? All the women came out of the houses, leaving the children at the mercy of the housemaids. And they left the children at the mercy of the idiot box. Putting the children opposite idiot box, they are going away. The husband has gone away, the wife has gone away, the children are nicely enjoying whole day the TV, the idiot box, and by the age of 14 years, 100,000 murders they have seen. And so they take up the gun of the father and shoot the father after growing up. This is what is happening in America. More of violence, more of crimes, more of suicides, more of corruption, more of divorces. Family have been broken. So she said, I acknowledge my mistake. We went far too ahead. There are 2 or 3 lessons there. She said, we have to learn. Number 1, we must develop ourselves. We must go ahead. We must keep in tune with the modern age, but not at the cost of the family. Not at the cost of our children. We don't want to make them criminals. No, we must protect our children. We don't want so many divorces. We don't want so many murders in our country. No, let us not sacrifice our family life for the sake of professionalism and for the sake of so-called equality. Number 1. 2, women cannot develop in isolation without going in tune with the man. Both have to go together. Both have to have equal power. But women in segregation cannot develop themselves. We became selfish and we wanted to develop at the cost of men. It is not possible. Men and women have to go together. So this message, second stage, it was received, it was given. Now the liberation movement, the feminine mystic, has taken new strides. They wanted to become imperfect men, but that is not possible. That is not possible. And the problems have not been solved because they went for profession. Okay, they got the jobs also, but they found out most of the jobs that women were getting were second or third rate or fourth rate. First and second rate jobs were not given to women. So even otherwise also they were suffering. And there were so many atrocities again at the workplace. These are all the things they found out. That simply going for job, coming out of the kitchen, leaving our houses is not the solution to the problem. And ILO reported, even after this feminine mystic also, after this so many movements of liberation movement of women, the ILO reported that women constitute half the population of the whole world and 3/4 of the work is being performed by women and only they possess 1% of world's property. So women are at the receiving end in various ways all over the world. This is the report of ILO. So the liberation movement did not click. Why it did not click? Number one, they made a mistake that they wanted women to become imperfect men. That cannot be. Why? Because women have got some certain special qualities which men do not have. Men have certain qualities which women do not have. Fortunately, the modern science is now at our disposal for coming to the right perspective. Time magazine, March 8, 1999 says, medical science is learning that sex does make a difference. Men's and women's bodies each have their own health problems, react differently to drugs, and often require different treatments. So they must require equal rights, but not equal treatment. You know, we have youth conventions in Gujarat, in India. So there are hundreds of boys and girls, they come. And boys sit separately, girls sit separately. And there are 2 entries for both of them. Then we were talking about this liberation, this movement that Swami Vivekananda said, women will come forward and all that. And one girl stood up. She said, you are talking about equality of men and women, but in your ashrama also you are having partiality. Why? You have got 2 gates, one for men and one for women. One for boys, one for girls. You are also doing partiality. I said, we are not doing partiality. Swami Vivekananda did not say that equal treatment has to be given to boys and girls. No. He said equal rights have to be given to boys and girls, but their treatment may be different according to their capacity, according to their requirements. You find out the measurement of the 2 gates, they are equal in size. Equal gates, but 2 different gates. So, equality does not mean becoming like man. Equal rights, of course, should be there, but men have different constitution, even genetically, even bodily, even physical bodies are different of men and women. So, different treatments have to be there. So, when we are talking about women development, let us remember, let us not repeat that mistake. Women have to develop themselves. But they don't have to become imperfect men. They have to become perfect women, and they have to be proud of that, because women have got some certain features which are not there available with men. As the century turns, it could be goodbye to women's sleep, hello to female liberated. That is what America says. Already female liberated. They are liberated. What type of freedom they have got? What type of freedom? Yes, they have got freedom to go for job, freedom to marry, freedom to produce children even before marriage, freedom to take divorce, freedom to have AIDS, freedom to take drugs, and freedom to commit suicide. That is the freedom. Do we want that freedom in India or in South Africa? We want freedom. But what type of freedom? Freedom that will give more happiness and peace. That is the right type of freedom. That is why this role has to be segregated. Women have to become perfect women. Women have long been regarded as slaves to biology and evolution, prisoners in a hormonal span. But several new books prepare a new biopositive view of women, their bodies and their possibilities. So many books have come out, you know. There is a book, Women and Intimate Geography by Nathalite Angier. Just Like a Woman is another book by Daime Hels, and another book, The First Sex by Helen Fisher. And very important message, the anthropologist predicts that women are psychologically primed to be the leaders of the 21st century. Even the anthropologists say. The anthropologist predicts that women are psychologically primed to be the leaders of the 21st century. Many psychologists say women have got certain psychic powers, mental powers, which are 10 times more than a man is having. So both have different types of powers, both have different types of bodies, both have different types of capacities. So both they should develop in their own lines. There should be equal rights for them. There should not be a partial treatment to one or the other. And they have to develop side by side, taking the cooperation of each other. That is the great message received from the this liberation movement carried out by Betty Friedan and many other feminists. So they say feminist was always a little too dainty sounding, so call the new consciousness is femalist. That is the new consciousness coming, femalist. The femalist premise could be summarized, yes, we are different. Varna makes something of it. We are different. Varna makes something of it. That is the message of femalist, not feminist. Feminist word gone. New word, femalist. So femalist have to come, which recognizes there is difference between man and woman, but for that matter, we are not inferior. We are not inferior. Women will say we are not inferior. We have separate types of bodies, separate types of psychic, but we are not inferior. And we have to go side by side in conjunction with the development of man. So this new phenomena of development of women, based on the new scientific discovery, based on the new thinking, has to be taken into account when we are talking about women development. So that has to come through women empowerment. And I told you, women empowerment would be preceded by economic prosperity, economic security, and social security. And this has to be preceded by education of women, but education of the right type. Development of IQ, EQ, and SQ. And here, Holy Mother Sharda Devi can become a role model for the modern women. She had all the virtues of ancient women and also the virtues of the modern women. The ancient ideal of India, the ancient view of India. What does the scriptures say? They look upon women as the manifestation of the Divine Mother. This is what our scriptures say. This Chandi, that is Durga Shaptasati, is a very famous book, as you know, Durga Shaptasati. There it is told, Vidya samasta tavadevi bheda, striya samasta sakala jagatsu. All the women are nothing but manifestation of the same Divine Mother. The Universal Mother is present in each and every woman. And that is why highest respect should be given to every woman. Unless until women are respected, that society is not going to prosper. That is why in our scriptures it was told, Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devata. Where women are respected, gods themselves come to play. Their godliness comes, goodness comes, the civilization comes, the culture comes. Without that, you may have best cars, best roads, very neat and clean roads, best cars, best gadgets, best shops, best dresses. But if your women cannot go after 7 p.m. into the market, as it is happening in the Western countries, what use is your civilization and what use is a culture? Mahabharata says that civilization is the greatest, that country is the greatest, that society is the greatest, where in the midnight women can go without any fear, without having any bodyguard. They can go single. It is there in Gujarat. Go. In India, night 12 o'clock during Navratri, women will be going absolutely fearless. Even as on today, the situation has not got worsened, though the modern youth are blindly imitating the Western culture, Western youth, I'm telling them, don't have a blind imitation of Western culture. But as on today also, women go there at midnight in Gujarat. Absolutely no fear. Absolutely no fear. That social security has to come. That culture has to come. That will come to the culture of respecting women. The Hindu tradition says every woman is a manifestation of the Divine Mother. And that is why when they call anybody, any lady, they call mother. Because each child, each and every human, every woman is the mother, is the Divine Mother. This concept is not at all known to the Western world. This has to come to them. You know, I'm giving you a real case story. A lady came from America. She came to one of our ashramas, visit. So, from the railway station, she took an auto rickshaw. You know, their auto rickshaws are more, they are cheaper, auto rickshaw. So, she came in an auto rickshaw, three-wheeler. So, when she got down, she wanted to give the change. Now, this rickshawala, you know, she doesn't know English, proper English, and she doesn't know Hindi. It was in Madhya Pradesh. So, a mixed English-Hindi. Our rickshawala said, "Mother, I do not have the change." As soon as he said like this, that lady became furious. "What? You call me mother? Am I the wife of your father? That you are calling me mother?" Rickshawala couldn't understand what mistake he has done. If there in India, if you call somebody mother, they would feel so respected. But American lady, she is feeling insulted. "Am I the wife of your father that you are calling me mother?" This is the difference. That means the American women have yet to learn the lesson. Their wife is more prominent, motherly is not. But every woman has got that motherliness in her. That motherliness is being given more importance. But after the foreign invasion, there was degradation of those values. And so Swami Vivekananda was asked, "You are boasting too much of your Indian culture and civilization, and yet your country is so poor, it has gone back." And why it has gone back? Then he said, "We committed 2 sins. As an atonement of these 2 sins, we are suffering." What are the 2 sins we committed? Number 1, neglect of the masses, poor people and untouchables. We trampled on them. Second, atrocities of women. As long as we are following the message of the scriptures that each and every woman should be respected, as long as we are respecting the women as goddess of learning, they were coming as goddess of learning. They were preaching Vedanta, and the country was progressing in every way, including on economic front. But when we started these 2 atrocities on women and masses, the degradation of the country started. So in India also, we are trying to this thing, bring back the honor of women. Their motherliness has to be respected. The divinity in the women have to be respected. A new paradigm shift has to come in the thinking process. This will come through education. But first of all, women have to themselves become goddesses. How they will come? How they will become? By getting proper type of education, IQ, EQ and SQ. And as I told you, Holy Mother Sharda Devi had all the 3. Though she was illiterate, but had high IQ, because of which she could, as a great administrator, rule the whole of Ramakrishna Math and Mission. She could control the whole organization, and she was the leader of the whole organization, though she was working in the kitchen like an ordinary village woman. But the whole control of the Ramakrishna Mission was under her. Swami Vivekananda would not go an inch without asking her. When he wanted to go to America, he first wrote to Sharda Devi. And when she received Sharda Devi's permission, then only she started dancing. Swamiji started dancing. "Oh, I have received the permission from Mother, so now I am going to America." Otherwise, he was not able to decide whether he should go to America or not. For anything, it would depend on Holy Mother. Holy Mother's word is final. Supreme Court. Supreme Court. Judgment. For anything, small or high. Once there was a cook who made a theft in Berumat, our headquarters. So Swami Vivekananda said, "Get out." The poor fellow went out. He had stolen some money because of poverty. Now where to go? Simply he went to Ibadan, where Holy Mother was there, staying there in Calcutta. just went there and prostrated and started weeping. What happened? I have been thrown out from the job. What will my family will do? My children will die. What happened? I have been thrown out. Why? Because I had stolen, I had made a mistake. Okay, don't worry. Then that same evening, Swami Premanandaji, the brother disciple of Swami Vivekananda, came to Udbodhan. Holy Mother said, take this cook back. You see, he has made some mistake. Now he has acknowledged his mistake. Let him have the job again. Swami Premanandaji said, what? Swami Vivekananda will be furious. Because Swami Vivekananda is Shiva avatar. When he is Ashutosh, he will give a lot of blessing. When he becomes Rudra Swarup, then nobody can go near him. When he becomes angry. They were all very much scared. But Holy Mother said, no, tell, I have sent you. Now what to do? Holy Mother has told him. And he came, and when he was entering with the cook from the main gate, Swami Vivekananda shouted, see, look at Baburam. From Swami Premananda's name was Baburam. Look at Baburam. The fellow has brought the cook again. And he started shouting and started scolding. Then Swami Premananda said, what to do? I did not want to bring. But Holy Mother told, no, you take him. Holy Mother told, silent. Now, the Supreme Court has told nothing. Again, he was put into the job. There was a great drought in West Bengal in 1899, and people were suffering, and people were dying, starving. First there was a plague, and there was also this, both the things combined, and people were living because of the plague, living in Calcutta. Swami Vivekananda was in Darjeeling, immediately came back to Calcutta and started the relief work. And told, don't worry, we are here to serve you. Don't leave Calcutta. We are here to serve you. And started with the help of Sister Nivedita, Miss Margaret Noble. She came from England to fulfill the mission of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda said, without education of women, the nation cannot develop. So he wanted to start a school for educating the women. At that time, very few women were educated, no school for girls. So he requested his disciple, Miss Margaret Noble, and she dedicated her whole life for developing Indian women, for educating Indian women, and for the sake of the Indian community. That is why Swami Vivekananda, he gave her the Brahmacharya Diksha, he gave her the name Nivedita. Her life is there, beautiful life, Sister Nivedita. So Sister Nivedita also, he told her to go for relief work. Relief work started, and then he told, we will do so much so relief work, don't worry. Now the brother disciple said, Swamiji, there is no fund. You already promised that we will be doing relief work, but there is no fund, no donation is coming. Swami Vivekananda said, what? Doesn't matter. If the fund is not coming, recently we have acquired this new land, Belur Mutt, near the side of Ganges, for developing the mud. We will sell that land. What is there? Sell that land means no Ramakrishna Mutt and mission. The headquarters itself is sold. That was going to be the headquarters of Ramakrishna Mutt and mission, and absolutely there was no other land in India for Ramakrishna mission, and if that is also sold, no Ramakrishna mission, completely gone. The brother disciples were very much anxious. They got very much worried, and Swami Vivekananda will carry out whatever he says. He said, what? We are monks, we can stay under a tree. We don't require a mutt. We'll sell this land, and from this we will serve the poor people. But I can't see the people suffering. Now the brother disciples could not say anything. They were afraid, scared of Swami Vivekananda. What to do? Go to the Supreme Court. Went to Holy Mother Sharda Devi and told her everything. This is what Swamiji is telling. Then Holy Mother said, call Naren. Naren Nagda became Swami Vivekananda. Call Naren. So Swami Vivekananda was brought. Naren, I have heard that you are thinking of selling away the land, this Belur Mutt. After 12 years of great labor, it has been acquired that you want to sell. Yes, Mother, I have thought, we have asked for the donation. If the donation does not come, we have started the relief work. If necessary, we will sell the land. You see, Mother, people are suffering like anything. I cannot see their suffering. Poor people, they are starving. So I have thought, if necessary, I will sell the land. Then Holy Mother said, my dear Naren, I can understand. Your heart is very good. You feel for the poor people. That's a great thing. But my dear son, this Belur Mutt is going to be the headquarters of Ramakrishna Mission. If you sell the land, there will be no Ramakrishna Mission. And you are all monks who have been taught who've been trained by Sri Ramakrishna himself. So you can live under a tree, but my other sons are going to come, they will become monks. They will not be able to perform just like you. You know, Holy Mother knew persons like me will be coming, joining the Ramakrishna mission. They would require food at the right time, they would require good lodging. And nowadays, you know, Sarada Devi's prayer has fructified. So much food is coming now. Perhaps Sarada Devi has to pray again. Please give, oh Ramakrishna, give less food to them. They are becoming fat. The monks. All prayers of Sarada Devi. So, Sarada Devi told Swamiji, you see, Naren, you can do perform ostrich, but these other my children will be coming. They will not be perform ostrich like this. And this Ramakrishna is not for 1 or 2 years. It will go on for hundreds and thousands of years. And so many children will come and they will require a mud to stay on. And you are talking about relief work. One relief work. There will be hundreds of relief work will be performed. Great relief work will be performed. Then Holy Mother said, and you want to sell away the land? Who is the owner of this land? Are you the owner of the land? You see, Holy Mother was not educated in our sense of the term. But what a beautiful legal point, you see. Our advocates will be also, criminology expert will also agree. Great legal wisdom that Sarada Devi said. She brought out a point. Does that land belong to you? No, Mother. I have purchased it in the name of the trust. Then how can you sell the land without taking the advice of the trustees? Then Swamiji, yes, that I cannot. I cannot sell the land without consulting the other trustees. I agree. And Sarada Devi said, and I have consulted the other trustees. They all came to me. They are not in the opinion of selling the land. And so the land was not sold. But of course, some donation came. And then of course, the relief work also carried on. And Belumat was saved. And now Belumat, because it was saved, we have 150 branches all over the world. 110 in India, 40 abroad, 10 in Bangladesh, and 12 in the United States, 1 each in Japan, Fiji, Mauritius, Singapore, Switzerland, Argentina, Canada, Brazil, Australia, so many places, 1,000 non-affiliated centers, 14 indoor hospitals, 90 outdoor hospitals, 90 dispensaries, 90 libraries, lot of rural and tribal development projects, and so many. And Sarada Devi told, you are talking about one relief work, hundreds of relief work will go on. So many relief work have been gone on during last 100 years. We have carried hundreds of relief work of great magnitude. The latest one was the earthquake relief work that we carried out at the cost of 200 million rupees. Construction of 81 school building and 6 colonies, 390 houses, earthquake resistant houses for the poor people who had nowhere to go. This has been done. That is Sarada Devi. She had all the virtues of the old ancient women, Sita, Savitri and Damayanti. Purity, chastity, modesty, simplicity, all the great virtues she had. At the same time, she had all the virtues of the modern women, a broad mind, high intelligence and modern outlook. A lady came to Sarada Devi, Mother, you see, this girl has become already 10 years. You know, at that time, the girls used to be married in India at the age of 6 years. I'm talking about 100 years time. So she has already become so young. She has become 10 years and she is refusing to get married. Please advise her to get married. Please scold her. She is not believing me. She is not listening to me. Please scold her. And Sarada Devi, instead of scolding the girl, she started scolding the mother. Why do you want to get her married at this young age? Let her get education, send her to Nivedita school, let her get full education. Afterwards, if she wants to get married, she will get married. Who are you? You just give her education. Sarada Devi was so modern outlook. And then one young girl wanted to have training in nursing. All of them objected because she was a Brahmin girl, upper caste, and nursing, you have to touch so many untouchable people. No. All of them advised against it. Holy Mother said, no, she had a modern outlook. No. Let her take the training of nursing. It will be useful, you know, once she takes training. And she did take training in nursing. And then she nursed so many people, so many poor people. Later on, after Sarada Devi passed away, after Sharda Devi gave up her body, she did a lot of tapasya in Benares, and then later on she became the first president of Sardamut. 1954. She got sannyasa and she Pravrajika Bharati Prana, and she became the first president of Sardamut. But Holy Mother was a great visionary. She could visualize what are the things going to happen, what are the things going to happen in the world, what are the things required. She was a great visionary, like any modern leader. She had all the great qualities of a great leader. She was a great administrator. She had all IQ, EQ and SQ, all the three. For modern women, Sharda Devi can become a role model. Read her biography, wonderful biography. And what an amount of purity, what an amount of modesty, what an amount of holiness, and what an amount of courage that is required for the modern women. Many ladies, they say what to do. There is no social security and we are afraid to go out in dark. Look at Holy Mother's life. She was from a village, a young girl. If you read her life, you will find out that was 1873. Sharda Devi was going from Jairambati, her own village, to Calcutta. That is about 80 miles away. At that time, no transport system. So she had to go walking. And there were so many companions. So they all started walking. But Sharda Devi was having a little problem in her legs. And so she could not walk fast. And all the companions said, come, let us go fast, let us go fast. Before evening, we must cross Telovelo, the field of Telovelo. You know, the field of Telovelo, which comes between Jairambati and Calcutta, was considered to be a very dangerous place, because ferocious dacoits used to be there, and there was the temple of Mother Kali, the Kali of dacoits, very ferocious face, Mother Kali. That temple is still there, Telovelo. I recently went and saw that. That is a very dangerous place. You must cross that field before evening, otherwise it will be dangerous. So they were constantly telling her. Now, Holy Mother had the habit, she didn't want anybody else to be put into trouble for her sake. She was always having service attitude to others. Then she said, you go all ahead, I am coming behind, don't worry about me, I will reach Arambagh. So, she went on, and the other people, they left because they wanted to reach Arambagh before dusk. And Sharda Devi was going, and it actually happened. It was coming dark. It became dark, and just when it became dark, suddenly a dacoit appeared before Sharda Devi. Very dangerous looking, ferocious dacoit, with a weapon in his hand. He appeared in that dense darkness. Suddenly appeared and shouted, "Who is there?" Any girl here sitting would have fainted. So-called college girls, highly educated, would have fainted. She was a lady, not educated. Not educated in the modern ordinary sense of the term. But she stood silent. And then after a few seconds, she said, "Father, I am your daughter Sharda. Your son-in-law stays in Dakshineshwar in Calcutta. I was going to meet him, but I think perhaps I lost the way." Just these two words, Baba, she said in Bengali, Baba, gone. That ferocious dacoit became so soft-spoken. "Don't worry, my wife is coming." And then the wife came, Sharda Devi, just at the time 16-year-old girl. She just took up the hands of that dacoit, the wife of the dacoit. "Oh mother, it's very good that you came. You see, I had lost the way. It's good that father and you came, and so I have got you. Now you please take me to your son-in-law's place." And mother, the dacoit's wife, she got so much overpowered by the emotion because of Sharda Devi's this taking up her hand. gone. And she said, what you are doing? She started scolding her husband. What you are doing? Standing here? My daughter, don't you know? She is so hungry and she has nothing to eat. So go fetch some food for her. And the dacoit who had come to kill her went in search of food, and Sharda Devi was given there was some small hut, a tea shop. There they took, we say, tonight we can't go to Calcutta, so let us take a rest. And Sharda Devi, that wife of dacoit, she took whole care of Sharda Devi, feeding her, talking to her, and told her husband, you keep guard so that nobody comes here. So the dacoit who had come to kill her now is standing as a guard to guard Sharda Devi. What a transformation. How it was done? Not by IQ, not by EQ, by SQ, spiritual quotient. She had that spiritual power because of which the whole world was one. This is her last message, Sharda Devi's last message. If you want peace of mind, do not look at the faults of others. Always remember, everyone, no one is a stranger, my child. The whole world is your own. And she had practiced this truth because she had grown spiritually so strong, so everywhere she could see the same Lord present. So in the dacoit, she could see her father, and she could talk like that. And the dacoit, seeing her love, he became a slave. Now legislation has been done. The name of that dacoit has been found out. It was Sagar Satra. That was the name of the person. And his house also has been found out, and a lot of details. At that time, when Sharda Devi met both of them, just a few months ago, they had lost their own daughter. And so they were grieving for their daughter. When Sharda Devi said, Baba, immediately they felt their own daughter has come in a new form. And so it acted like a miracle, a magic word for them, and they became slaves. And they went 2-3 times. Not only that time, they went all the way to Dakshineshwar to leave her. Not only that, they went again also 2-3 times more to Dakshineshwar and used to look upon Sri Ramakrishna as son-in-law, and Ramakrishna would also give respect to them, that dacoit and the wife of the dacoit. How could Holy Mother Sharda Devi face a dacoit in dense darkness all alone in the field of Telogelo? Because of her spiritual power. So most important thing, if we want women development, we must empower women empowerment. But not only through legislation, through education. Not only through education, through spiritual culture. Unless until the spiritual education comes, unless until spiritual culture comes to every woman, well, you are going to be hated upon, you are going to be trampled upon. So many people say, yesterday there was a question, what I should do if they have deceived me. Well, why do you allow yourself to be deceived? Why do you allow yourself to be betrayed? So much of cases of betrayal. Why? Because less of SQ, less of spiritual quotient. So unless until women have got spiritual development and they take the role model of Sharda Devi and develop not only intellectually but also emotionally, they must have control over their mind. EQ must be also developed, and also SQ, spiritual quotient, must be developed, and spiritual culture if it comes. And they develop this spiritual culture by practicing 4 yogas, as Swami Vivekananda has told: Raj Yoga, that is meditation; Bhakti Yoga, that is prayer; Gyan Yoga, that is reading good books of positive thoughts. Beautiful books are there in the bookshop. Take the books: Life of Sharda Devi, Gospel of Holy Mother, Our Women, that's a book written by Swami Vivekananda, Life of Nivedita, Karma Yoga, Swami Vivekananda's 4 yogas, Life of Swami Vivekananda. All these books will help the women to develop the spiritual culture. 4 yogas: Raj Yoga, meditation; Bhakti Yoga, prayer; Jnana Yoga, reading these books; and Karma Yoga, doing each and every work in the form of, in the spirit of worship. Then will come a total paradigm shift in their thinking. Then will come a total personality development in the women, in the modern women. They have to have combined all the facilities, all the faculties. They must become proficient in high technology, of course, become IT professionals, highly educated, become professors, become scientists, all that. But with all that, you will not be able to get rid of the problems of daily life. Betrayal, atrocities, at home, in the workplace, in society, unless until there is a paradigm shift in the thinking of the society, and society looks upon you as Divine Mother, as a manifestation of the Divine Mother. They start developing a respect for women that society has to develop. And for that, first of all, women have to develop their personality so that they are respected. Just going in the modern way, just blindly imitating the Western women and following that this liberation movement will not solve the problems of the modern women. This is what I feel. Already I have taken 6 minutes more for the first session. So actually I would like to have more of questions from you. We will have a break of 5 minutes or 10 minutes. We can have a break of 10 minutes, and then during that time, please give any question that you want to ask. I will rather try to give answer to these questions which may be perhaps more to the point rather than I telling so many things. But this I personally feel that Holy Mother Sharda Devi can become an ideal for modern women, and women can develop themselves not by themselves but keeping in conjunction with men. Don't become an imperfect man but become perfect women. You have got your own great things, and so be proud that you are a woman, but that respectability should be cultivated. For cultivating that respectability, combine all the three: IQ, EQ, right type of education. And one more point that I forgot. There are so many problems. I heard even in South Africa, in India, everywhere, atrocities are going on. One is educating and empowering yourself through spiritual development. Another thing that is needed, some of the problems are, say for example, a husband taking liquor, drinking wine and kicking. This is one of the problems. Likewise, there are so many problems, of course. But many problems are created not by men, by women. I think you would agree. In India, I ask, have you any time heard a father-in-law pouring kerosene over daughter-in-law? It is always the mother-in-law pouring kerosene and burning her. Always mother-in-law. Never the father-in-law. It is the problem between mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. Both are women. So women have to solve their own problems. Don't depend on men. Swami Vivekananda, at that time, the widow remarriage was a big issue, social issue. So one press reporter asked, Swamiji, what do you think of widow remarriage? Swamiji kept silent. Second and third time he was asked, Swamiji, what do you think of widow remarriage? Then Swamiji said, am I the widow that you asked me this question? Ask the widow. Who are you to solve the problems of women? Women are capable enough to solve their own problems. Don't interfere. Man, shake off, go, get out. Let the women solve their own problems. Who are you to solve their own problems? Yes, but one thing, educate them. Education, give them education of the proper type, and then they are capable enough of solving their own problems. So women should solve their own problems, not depending on others. And second thing is, women should unite with themselves. There should be organizations. Welfare of women's organizations is a must. Don't depend on government, don't depend on men. Have women's organization who will protect your right. Social security, if you want, let women's organization be there. If any woman is being tyrannized by her husband, you must have a court of your own. You must have a counseling center of your own. Call that husband. What is the problem? If he is unemployed, let him get self-employed. Many times it happens. He is also frustrated. He takes wine and kicks his wife because there is nobody else whom he can kick. So solve that problem through counseling. So women's organization must come up if you want to solve the problems. This is what I say in India also. Women's organization will take. If women get united, all the problems solved. But very difficult to get them united. Yes, I know, because of that one demon that is there in each and every human being, but more so in women rather than men, and that is jealousy. Thank you.